Hello, this is Jim Hrisoulas again, the cranky old bastard himself. Tonight's discussion is going to be on forges. First, let's understand what a forge is. A forge is nothing more than a heat source. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be complicated, it is just something that gets something hot enough to work, and that's all it is. The simplest forge will be the solid fuel ones. You're burning wood, charcoal, soft coal, or coke. These work very well. The first forge I ever used was a coal burner I made out of an old truck brake drum. Used that for 25 years. Worked great. The advantages of a coal fire, charcoal or coal, is the fact that it gets very hot very quickly. That can also be a disadvantage because if you're not careful, you can melt the piece you're working on. Another advantage is you can build a small fire and just heat the center of a bar, let's say 2 or 3 inches in area, and not the rest of the bar as you would in either a gas or a oil-fired forge. One of the drawbacks of the forge, a solid fuel forge, is the fact that it is dirty. If you're running coal, you're going to have a lot of smoke, soot, that wonderful coal smell, which to me smells like my childhood because I grew up with coal heat. Another disadvantage is finding the coal. And sometimes the city will come down and pay you a little visit saying you can't do that anymore. So it's always there. Another advantage of a coal-fired forge is they're easy to build. It could be anything from a pile of coals fanned together with a hair blower, or hole in the ground with a bellows, or something a little more sophisticated like the brake drum I mentioned, or a full-blown, like a railroad-style fire pot. They work quite well. They've been used for 1,000 years. And charcoal forges have go back to the beginning of metalworking, so they do work. The next one is gas. That could be either natural gas, propane, or liquid petroleum gas. I haven't had any real experience using MAP gas, but it does burn a little hotter, but here again, you got to worry about where to get it. The advantage of a propane forge over a coal forge is the fact that it's a sit and forget it. Once you get it carbureted for your altitude and you get it set right to the temperature you need, you can just turn it on and let it go. Another advantage is it's very clean. It doesn't have any soot, no real smell. It does put out a lot of heat, but it's intense heat and it can burn you if you're not careful. So keep an eye on that. Another advantage of the gas forge is the fact it's clean. You don't have any problem with contamination of the metal, like you won't be picking up sulfur or any impurities from the coal. A disadvantage to it is the fact that, one, it burns propane and not everybody has access to it, but it's not that hard to find, really. Another disadvantage is the size of the fire. If you want to heat a 2-inch section in the center of a 3-foot bar in a propane forge, it's not going to happen. You're going to be heating the whole temperature of the entire area of that firebox length. That's the disadvantage. The liquid fuel forges, such as an oil forge, those are very complicated. I have a little bit of experience running them. I do not like them. To me, I don't like having the idea of having gallons and gallons of flammable liquid, dripping into a burner. That's my own personal feelings on that. But either a gas forge or a coal forge, if you can get it, work great. Here again, you have to look at the equipment you have access to, where you are located at, what is not allowed in your area. So other than that, remember again that a forge is nothing more than a heat source. It could be as simple as a hole in the ground full of charcoal, or as sophisticated as a temperature-regulated, thermocoupled, carbureted, gas or oil burn forge, or somewhere in between. Myself, I'm currently running a 3-burner propane forge. Works great. That was in my other video. And other than that, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscription button. And thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful evening. May the good Lord bless you. May the wise Lord guide you. Thank you. Good night.